right, you are welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be looking at entering into the Imprest system. Now, before we go into entering into the Imprest system, like I always say, don't forget to like my channel, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bar for more live updates. Now, you can as well share our videos to more persons that are in need of this knowledge in order to help them improve in their accounting knowledge and how to enter or post into account questions. So, Imprest system, it's all about trying to enter little expenses that are incurred in a business over a given period of time. Say maybe 1 month or 2 months. Say in an organization, they run expenses on a daily basis, but those expenses you want to be able to have accountability, to be able to account for all of those expenses. What do? You raise an Imprest system, and mostly it is done so that the organization, you don't always go back to the owner of the organization on a daily basis. We need money for fuel, we need money for stationaries, we need money for cleaning agents, we need money for pens, we need money for all these little minor expenses, entertainment of visitors and all of that. To avoid constant demand on money, to be able to meet up with these little expenses that are unplanned, that just pops up because you just know you will need them within time. For example, fueling of the official vehicle of the organization. It's not something you can just say, I'll full the tank of the vehicle and it's going to take us for over a period of 1 month. No, you have to do that consistently. Now, a certain amount of money will be given to the Imprest cashier. Now, the Imprest cashier or the bursar, we have that. Say you give the Imprest cashier a 10,000 naira to cover for these minor expenses within a month. Now, the Imprest, anytime there is a need for fueling, anytime there is a need for restock of stationaries, anytime there is a need for repairs of vehicles, anytime there is a need for entertainment of visitors, and so on and so forth, postage and all, we go into the Imprest, the amount that was given to the Imprest cashier in order for them to cover or take care of those expenses. Now, the person that handles the Imprest is called the Imprest cashier, and the money that is given to them to tackle for all those expenses or unforeseen expenses that may arise within a given period of time, it's called float. So we can also call it cash float. Now, say this is a question that was given. I think I called this from SSC in November, December 2009. We have General Enterprises runs an Imprest system with a float. Now, remember I told us that float is the money that is given to the Imprest cashier to take care, to tackle, or to handle expenses that comes up within a given period of time, maybe 1 month or 2. Now, we say it was given a float of 1,000. It's lean 1,000, but I had to change the currency to naira because we're in Nigeria, so it will be easier for us to understand. So we have 1,000 naira. Details of payment out of petty cash for the month of January 2008 are, now these are the expenses that was incurred within that given period of time. Now, there's something I'd like us to take note of. Yeah, it's a Kunle settlement of balance in ledger. Now, that has to do with creditors account. Now, creditors are those that we are owing. Maybe we collected goods or items from them and we are yet to pay, or they rendered their services to our organization and we are yet to pay for that services that was rendered. So if the money was disbursed for us to make such payments, we will enter it into the ledger, into the petty cash book, but under the column of ledger, meaning we have been able to offset the outstanding balance that is owed to our creditors. So most times in terms of ledger, it also comes under, that is the double entry ledger. It also comes under what we call the purchase column because we obtain from the creditors and then we are yet to pay them for their services. In mostly in all of the questions, you are being given your ruling, like the column in which you are going to split those expenses into. Now, all of these expenses from January 2nd all the way to January 30th, Now we see that this imprest was to cater for the expenses within the month of January. Now, all of these now, we are going to open column to enter their expenses. It said they are required to prepare a petty cash book analyzed into motor expenses, cleaning expenses, office expenses, postage, and most times postage comes with postage and stationaries. Postage and stationaries, maybe sending mail, cost of sending mail, buying post, stamp in terms of posting mail, buying stamp falls under postage. Then stationaries, pen, stapler, all these minor equipment that are used in an office, those office equipment are all called stationaries. Then our ledger, we also open a column for the ledger account. Now, we have our receipt. Receipt has to do with what? The amount that was given, which is the cash float. So my receipt is 1,000 naira. Now, mind you, within the course of January, the float was exhausted. They need to be reimbursed. Reimbursed means an additional money will be given to the petty cashier in order for them to take care of the expenses that are left to be incurred within the remaining days of the month. So it can come in maybe half of the month, or depending on how fast the money was spent. So if the money was spent, say the money was exhausted by 14th, so they will get a reimbursement. A reimbursement means a top up, and added money in order for them to be able to take care of the remaining expenses that will be incurred for the remaining days of the month. So if we have that, during the date, we'll also add it to this in order for we to know the total amount of float that was used within the given period of time, within the month. Now, our folio. Here, this is my cash balance. Now, I'll start with my dates, and then details has to do with the expenses, the details of what the money was used for. Then, voucher number most times has to do with the page number that it was recorded in the ledger or the journal. So if there's a page number, we record the page number where those transactions were entered in the journal. We'll record the page number here. But most times we rarely have voucher number, so we rarely have page number, so it's pointless for us to make any entries here. Now, I've ruled my column into as instructed in the question. Now, this is my motor expenses. Oh, okay. That I'm supposed to have my total. So let me put this here, sorry. Now, I've ruled this into the expenses that were given. Now, this is my total, that is the total cost of my details. Put my naira sign for my total cost. Now, in my ruling, we already have the motor expenses, the cleaning expenses, the office expenses, postage and stationery, and we also have the ledger account. So any of these transactions that falls into motor expenses will go into the motor expenses. Now, let me give a brief explanation so that we can do this together. I want it to be an open class where you also can as well guess where the next transaction or the next particulars is going to be recorded under which of the column. Now, motor expenses, any expenses that falls into motor repairs, fueling, anything generally that borders with vehicles in terms of that organization. Maybe motor expenses, in terms of fueling of that vehicle, we'll record it under motor expenses. Now, cleaning expenses in the office. If there's anything that you want to clean, sorry, I want to increase this. If there's anything that you want to clean, maybe you purchase detergent, If you do not purchase detergent, you have room freshener, that is to make the room smell nice, whatever that entails cleaning. So if you are buying detergent, you're buying water, you're buying mopping stick, whatever is used for cleaning is recorded under cleaning expenses. And most times they'll just give you cleaning expenses. If they do not, maybe they break it down. So you just carry the particulars, put it under cleaning expenses. Office expenses, on the day-to-day running of the office, any money that was incurred in terms of the office will go under office expenses. Postage and stationery, that is your pen, your mail expenses, any office equipment, those office equipment that are used to make our work easier and better, all of that goes into postage and stationery. Then the ledger has to do with settlement of account. Now, once you have settlement of account in your details, you record it under the ledger. Now, quickly, let's go into our posting. So, January 2nd, I've already recorded the cash float, which is 1,000 naira. Now, January 2nd, I have my date. And what was the details? I'll just align all of this, then we'll start posting. We have petrol. Total cost of petrol is 120. Then January 3rd, I have cleaning expenses. So I'll just claim it as cleaning is 30. January 5th, we have postage. Postage is 15. Then I have organizing of staff tires. Then that is January 7. Organizing of bus tires is 40 for bus tires. Then we have cleaning expenses on January 11. So I have cleaning. Cleaning, because it's 50. Then January 13th, I have petrol for staff bus. Petrol for staff bus is 150 naira. January 14th, we have postage. Postage is 20 naira. Then January 18th, we have replacement of office bulb. I have office bulb. Office bulb costs 100 naira. Then January 19th, we have cleaning expenses. Cleaning expenses is 40 naira. Then January 20, we have postage. Postage is 25 naira. So I have my 25 naira. Then cleaning expenses on January 22nd. Cleaning expenses January 22nd is 20. Then we have settlement of ledger. Now we've seen this, right? January 24th. I have settlement of ledger. So I'll just put the person's name, the creditor's name, which is Kunle, as 55 naira. Then we have grazing of staff bus, which is January 25th. I have grazing of bus. Now that is 40 naira. Then I have petrol on January 27th. Now the cost of petrol for staff bus is 100. Then we have cleaning expenses on January 29. January 29 cleaning expenses is cleaning expenses is 40. Then the last one, January 30th, we have a postage. Postage is 30. Now, I've outlined all my great. I love using rulers in accounting. We take pride in making sure our work look very neat and well presentable. Great. Now, these are our details. These are our expenses that was incurred in the month of January. So what do? Now let's try apportioning all of these amounts, all of these transactions into the appropriate columns. Petrol. Now what column do you think petrol will go to? what do we use petrol for? For motor expenses. So it comes here. I have 120. The second one, cleaning. So cleaning goes into what column? I know you are guessing that right already. So cleaning is 30. So it goes into cleaning expenses. Not on the same row. I go to the next row because of the date. It's not on the same day that that transaction took place. Now we have January 5, postage. Postage goes into my column for postage, which is 15 naira. Then vulcanizing involves what? Vehicle, because it has to do with the tires. So I put under vehicles. Cleaning goes to cleaning expenses, 50. Petrol, vehicle, of course. Postage, we know where that is going, right? Postage and stationery, which is 20 naira. Then we have office bulbs. Now, office bulbs will go into where? Replacement of office bulb. Yes, you guessed that right. Office expenses. So this will give me 100 naira. Great. Cleaning goes to our cleaning expenses, which is 40 under the cleaning expenses column. Postage goes to the postage and stationery column, which is 25 naira. I have my 25 naira. Then cleaning comes under the cleaning expenses, which is 20 naira. Then 24th, we have Kunle. Kunle settlement of debt. Like I told us, it's under purchase ledger, so we'll go under the ledger account column, which is base, and it's 55 naira. Greasing of bus. Greasing has to do with what? Motor expenses. So I'll put it down here, 40 naira. Then petrol obviously goes still under motor expenses. So this will give me 100 naira. Cleaning comes under cleaning expenses, and that is 40 naira. And postage goes under postage expenses, which is 30 naira. Now, we've seen that we've assigned all of these transactions into their various columns, the appropriate columns. Now, the next thing we need to do is to add up the total amount that was spent on each column, on each items, transaction and listed items for the period of January from 1st to the end of January. So, here, ledger, I have 55 naira. Postage and stationery, this is 55, 75, 80, 90 naira. This office expenses, we incurred 100 naira. Then here we have 80, this is 100, 150, 180. This will give me 180 naira. Then in terms of motor expenses, this is 140, 290, 290 plus 40, that is 330. 330 plus 120, that is 450, 450 naira. Now, what do? You add all of this together, then you add all of this together. Then we'll give you the same figure here because it's the same expenses. So, let's do our calculation. This plus this is what? It's 550. So, 550 plus 180, this is 0, 13, 3, 1, 6, 7, 30. So we are done with these first three expenses. So we have 90 naira, 0, 12, 2, carry 1, which will give me 8, 20, then 55. This will give me 5, 7, and 8. So my total expenses is what? Is 875 naira. Meaning that we spent under the amount of cash flow that was given to us for the month of January. Now, at the end of the day, what do we have? We have a balance carried down. So our balance carried down. Now, how do we do our balance carried down? 875 naira. You subtract it from 1,000 naira. Now, I can as well bring my 875 naira as my expenses here. 875 in account, we know what this means, right? Subtract, we know what that means, right? It means to subtract. When the figure is in brackets, you subtract. Now, 1,000 minus 875 naira. Now, you borrow, so this is 10, 5, this will become 9, 2, this is 9, 1. So my balance is what? 125 naira. So if we add this, it will also give us, so let me bring this a little bit down. So balance carried down is 125 naira. If we close, this will give me 1,000, because if you add them together, it will give you 1,000. So if I add this together, it will give me 1,000. So I've closed. Now on February 1st, our balance carried forward, that is the amount that we are carrying into the month of February, it's 125 naira in terms of your closing. And this 125 naira will then be paid into the organizational account as balance from the Imprest that was given. So do we have understanding of this? It's just this simple. It's just this simple. All you just need to do when giving a question for you to enter into the Imprest system is to just follow this simple calculations, this simple posting, and you will get your sum correct. So what do we always say? Don't forget to like my videos, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bar for more live updates. And also to encourage our channel to grow, do well to recommend us to friends, to family members, or to fellow students or students that you know need this knowledge in order to help them simplify accounting. Accounting is actually very simple if we take out our time to follow the simple principles of posting. So every transaction, like our receipt is recorded by the debit side, and every expenses are recorded in the credit side. So that brings us to the end of our class for today. So thank you so much for staying tuned and watching. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.